Ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages, boys and girls from every corner of time and space, all the way through everything, doesn't matter if race, planet, or species, or origin in any way, shape, or form. Ladies and gentlemen, who is for everyone? Doctor Who is an amazing show that has been going around for absolute generations. It's been wonderful. It's been amazing for many decades. Of course, it's had its highs and its lows. And of course, there was a very giant time period of time back in the 90s where we got no Who. We got no Who at all, except for a little movie out there that, of course, a lot of the fans had issues with. And then, of course, we saw the revival, the glorious return in the early mid 2000s of Doctor Who coming back with Christopher Eccleston and Russell T Davies going out there and just absolutely killing it. If you enjoy all of that kind of Who, if you enjoy that era of the series, of the seasons, make sure you join us at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time every single Sunday. We review when Who was good, going back and while you're watching some of the classic episodes, watching Little Torchwood and all that kind of stuff. It's a really, really good time. Mr. Grant Gregory and our dear, sweet, silent witch, Sunker Maiden herself, joins us, and is a really, really great time. So boys and girls, come check us that out. But that's not what we've got going on right now, right? That's not what we've got going on in the modern era. Russell T Davies flat out said himself that he would not be able to take this show to the new heights that he wanted to and change things and go in the new direction that he wanted to without the Walt Disney Company's money. And ladies and gentlemen, the Walt Disney Company invested a lot of money into Doctor Who. It is no longer a technical BBC show. The Walt Disney Company runs that along with Russell T Davies and the Bad Wolf Productions. And boys and girls, since he has taken over, there was so much hope out there for fans, hoping that we're going to see a revival of the series, get back to good quality writing with stories that actually made sense and respected the original source material and the lore of Doctor Who, which is something that we did not see during the Chris Chibnall era. Yes, during the dark times of the Chris Chibnall era. Well, boys and girls, that a lot of that has not been going very well whatsoever, because since the Walt Disney Company and RTD have brought the show out there onto Disney Plus, and now that it's out there as part of their Disney Plus streaming service, the numbers are not going very well at all. And how do we know this? Because normally in the Americas, we have to wait for the Nelson or the Samba numbers, and normally they take a couple of weeks. Well, boys and girls, fortunately enough for us, the BBC doesn't require that, and they release their numbers almost immediately from their overnight numbers. And boys and girls, it is not a good thing, because premiere night is going down the toilets. Now, obviously, they had a great bump last week from an episode that was completely and totally centered around Ruby Rose herself, the Disney Doctor's new companion out there. Ncuti Gatwa, yes, Ncuti Gatwa, as I like to tell people and irritate the people out there that irritates. Our dear sweet Ncuti Gatwa, his companion, and that one had a really good bump. And a lot of the Neo Who fans out there were cheering and going, "Yes, see, it's going fine. Everything's fine. Everything's gonna be fine. Doctor Who's not dead. Disney hasn't ruined it. Russell T Davies hasn't become a shell of his former self." Well, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, that little bump did not last, because all of those extra fans that tuned in last week for the Ruby Rose censored episode have now tuned right back off, because everything Disney touches turns to dust. And if we thought Doctor Who couldn't possibly get any worse, or the ratings couldn't possibly go any lower, well, I guess Disney said, hold my beer, boys and girls, because it is failing miserably. How bad is it, though, is the question. How many have they actually lost, and how far down is it from all of their heights of yonder year? I mean, these numbers are worse than the Chris Chibnall era, ladies and gentlemen. So we're going to check out this article from Cosmic Book News, get into all of the juicy details, and see exactly how bad it has gotten. But before we do, and if you do enjoy our content, make sure you hit that like button, share it, or subscribe. Share it with all your friends. Subscribe if you have not already, or follow, depending on what platform you're on. Hi, Rumble. We love you. And if you haven't already, leave us a comment down below and let me know if you're a Whovian fan out there that will be joining us Sunday nights at 7 p.m. to review when Who was good, because boys and girls, it is the perfect palate cleanser for dealing with all of the disastrous dumpster fire that is Disney's Neo Doctor Who, ladies and gentlemen. So let's check this out from cosmicbook.news by Matt McCloyne. 500,000 people, boys and girls, 500,000 Doctor Who fans turned off the woke Ncuti Gatwa when it's all about agenda instead of good storytelling. That's woke, folks, and they are very spot on. Good writing, Matt. And yes, that shocked face as I'm sure exactly what RTD and everybody else over at the Walt Disney Company has on their faces every time they see these numbers roll in. Ncuti Gatwa returns to Doctor Who, and 500,000 fans stopped watching. Again, just like the actor requested. Hi! And if you don't remember that, boys and girls, yes, Ncuti Gatwa, as well as Russell T Davies, and a whole lot of other people out there that said, if you don't like the new queer agenda, the queer direction that Russell T Davies is taking the show, well, then don't watch it. Well, orders heard, Captain. Following. Thank you. And clearly the majority of the fans are doing the exact same thing. So following last week's big bump of 600,000 fans tuning in for Millie Gibson's episode, which is still pathetic compared to Doctor Who numbers in the past, aka, I don't know, New Who with Eccleston, Tennant, Matt Smith, and even our dear sweet Capaldi. Most of those fans apparently chose not to return for Saturday's episode Dot and Bubble, which was billed as the show's Black Mirror episode. However, that obviously didn't help. Episode 5 was watched by 2.12 million viewers in the UK, according to the UK's overnight rating system. That number is down from the season high last week of 2.62 million viewers, which is still really low for Doctor Who. I mean, literally, this is a show that is nothing more than a very personal, permanent fixture in England and the United Kingdom's culture, okay? Like, I have friends of mine that I stream with all the time, Jack Tarlad, who says literally growing up as a kid, every nerd store you went to, any kind of comic shop, any kind of specialty retail store that sold any kind of stuff like that, had a giant, huge section of nothing but Doctor Who stuff. And yet, a country of how many millions of people, something that has literally been a part of culture, embedded in their traditions and their heritage, is Doctor Who. And yet the majority of them are not tuning in and watching. That is so sad. Which again centered on companion Ruby Sunday, played by Millie Gibson, as Ncuti Gatwa disappeared at the start of the episode. The 2.12 million is also the second worst ratings of the new series. Within the next couple of weeks, we will also know if the Neo Doctor Who made the Nielsen ratings, which will give an indication if the show is a success or not on Disney+. Boys and girls, I guarantee you those numbers are going to be abysmal if it even charts, which I honestly doubt it will. Doctor Who is a little bit of a niche show, even for the Americas and for Western civilization as a whole. It's a giant sci-fi, then, of course, became a huge hit in the Americas with the new revival of the show with RTD, and especially during the Matt Smith era. You could not go to a Hot Topic and not see a giant section of nothing but Doctor Who stuff. Go into one now and look how big that section is, if it's even there anymore, boys and girls. And we will tell you, I can tell you right now, how abysmally miserable the ratings will be for this. Once again, if they even chart, which at this point, I highly, highly doubt. Well, I think we already know the answer. Just like the 60th anniversary specials, which didn't make any of the Nielsen charts and never saw Disney make an official announcement about the number of viewers, which remember, when Ahsoka premiered, they were like, woo! All these millions of people tuned in, according to their own numbers, which actually mean nothing because we have nothing to compare them to. Disney hasn't made any announcement about the new series' viewership. I wonder why. Once again, Bob Iger and the Walt Disney Company spent millions upon millions, hundreds of millions of dollars on another IP that was already damaged goods to begin with, and many would say was completely in dead after Chibnall's run to begin with, and now is even more confirmation. We thought it was dead before. You have made it even worse. You have took what was already a dancing, necromancy corpse of once beloved Doctor Who show, and now you've desiccated it even more. You've took that corpse and done unspeakable things to it. And the fans are responding by tuning out and turning off Neo Disney Doctor Who. Because guess what, RTD? We don't like your new direction. And yes, if we don't like it, just like Ncuti Gatwa said, we'll tune out. And they are. And it's only going to get worse from here. And I, for one, can't wait to see it because they have done this to themselves. They are sacrificing agenda over good storytelling. They are taking what used to be a family-friendly show and shoving all of their perverse, decadence, disastrous, and all around not so healthy lifestyles down everyone's throat, forcing parents that if they want to watch these shows with their children to have to explain things they don't want to have to explain to their kids. You sacrificed you put forward your debauchery over good storytelling. Who you slept with, RTD, mattered more than a good story. And this is why your show fails and will continue to fail. Fans and storytelling over everything. That is a guaranteed success. Well, nothing in life's guaranteed, but it's going to give you a much higher chance than that because guess what? That's what's actually won in the past. History can tell us what works and what doesn't. How many more failures do you need, Disney? Do you need Hollywood before you figure out this doesn't work? Maybe you never will. And guess what? I'm okay with that because eventually you run out of other people's money and this show will fail just like all of the rest of them have. Likewise, the Disney-invested Samba TV viewership data company has refused to post the Doctor Who household numbers for Disney+, obviously because they are terrible, because if they were good, they'd be shouting it from the rooftops. What happened is that showrunner Russell T Davies and Ncuti Gatwa went even woker in the Chris Chibnall and Jodie Whittaker era thanks to the Disney money. It's all about pushing an agenda and not about quality storytelling. How's that working out? Special, 5 million. Special 2, 4.8. Special 3, 4.6. Christmas, 4.7. Episode 1 with Ncuti Gatwa and them and Disney fully in charge of the series. 2.6 million, 2.4 million, 2.04 million, 2.62 billion, 2.12 million dollar, 2.1.2 million viewers, boys and girls. Are you starting to see a pattern here? See, special 1 right there. We all had hope. I watched all 3 specials. Unfortunately, damn you, Jed. I watched all 3 of those specials with some hope that things might have gotten better. And of course, was initially crushed right from the very beginning. And this is why nobody trusts Russell T Davies. Nobody trusts Disney. Nobody trusts your new direction. You have completely and totally devastated what was one of the most dominant and long-lasting sci-fi franchises on the planet and in history of media. You took all of that goodwill and all of that good faith, RTD, that you had built decades building up with the fan base, years, seasons upon seasons, episode upon episode, and you took all of that Disney money. You sucked the mouse's dick so hard that you decided to go full bore agenda, and now you're failing. The hope that we all had for the revival of Doctor Who after the dark times during the Chris Chibnall era is gone. And guess what, boys and girls? It's exactly what we should have expected as soon as we heard that Disney money was involved. And it sucks that so many of us did have hope. Because I did. I love Doctor Who. It was a show I used to get up every Sunday morning and watch with my son. Every single morning, whenever the new episode came out. And now, at least I've still got those good memories. And so if this has put a bad taste in your mouth, boys and girls, if this has upset you to see how bad your Doctor Who has gotten, ladies and gentlemen, please join us at 7 p.m. every single Sunday night where we review when Who was good. We're currently in the David Tennant era. We're going to be going all the way up until the Capaldi era. So please join us and get a palate cleanser. Come watch and enjoy how much we all have a good time geeking out over how good new Who was. And let's forget this Disney Neo Who absolute garbage, because everything Disney touches turns to dust. But boys and girls, we will always have our memories and they will never be able to take any of that away from us. So by all means, RTD, keep going with your new direction. More and more fans will keep checking out, and the Walt Disney Company will continue to burn hundreds of millions of dollars, and that is just one step closer to their complete and total destruction, annihilation, and then the fans once again returning into the driver's seat, and we actually get good quality entertainment again.